Hey, it's your boy Sergeant Hooked on Heroes, hitting with another brand spanking new review / recap for Kamen Geats episode 46. Overall, I enjoyed the episode. A little bit of ass pulliness to it, but it wasn't the worst with it. Nowhere near what we got with shit with Revice. Let's get into the details. So, coming off of last week, Ace has reset the world, but in doing so, he gained the full powers of a creation god, but now he's the one chained up in the one little area where the creation god or goddesses are. And so, he is, stuck there, right? And Michinaga and Neon and Keiwa want to figure out a way that they can help Sarah, right? Especially Michinaga, who wants to atone for everything that happened. Him and Keiwa aren't really, he hasn't really talked to him a whole lot, and he still feels awkward about everything, how he was the one that killed her. Baraba makes some more, comments about it throughout the episode, too, kind of just, fucking with him and making him feel bad about it. And I like this arc from Michinaga, where, it has been his goal since it happened to fix what happened with Sarah. I really enjoy that because, he's always come off, like I said, I've said this many times before, very much so a Vegeta type secondary or just type character in the show, where he starts off pretty, evil or evil-esque, and there's little, flashes of heroism until we get to right now, where he's pretty heroic in general, pretty damn heroic, I would say. But Baraba has other plans. She finds out that Daiji's, Jamato Tree of Knowledge thing is back and wants to use it to create a basically super powerful Jamato to fuck over the world and cause more misery. Keikara, included, agreed. And the audience members that Geats brought through last time are pissed off and want the bad end, so he makes them go do that. And so that's what they want to do. And the way they do it is, if you remember last week, I forgot if I mentioned this, Geats at one point, Sumuri is crying about the whole situation between Ace and Keiwa, and he catches her tear, and it crystallizes, and he keeps it. Somehow from that, he's able to create another Sumuri again, and he calls her his goddess of destruction. I don't know what that means. I guess just an inverse on the creation goddess thing. I don't know how that's possible. Again, kind of ass-pully, but it's fine. And so, Baraba makes a wish to make this tree be the power source for a super powerful Jamato. And this Dark Sumuri tells her, well, I can do that, but I'll need to use some of your gleam, some of your power. Takes her hand, starts, pulling some of her power from her. And so Michinaga and Neon catch wind of this. They go to Daichi and basically force him to work with them, that if they can take out Baraba, he will come through on his end to save Sarah. He keeps trying to say he can't, and they're like, no, you're going to figure this out. Basically, you're going to figure this out, we'll fucking kill you. And I like that. I like not getting a full redemption for Daichi, just a has to work with them or else be destroyed type of thing. So a lot of the episode has to do with this coming down to the showdown between Baraba and Michinaga, right? And as you know, this whole Buffa Mao thing hasn't happened yet. It doesn't really happen in this episode either, and it kind of bothers me. I'm hoping something happens maybe in a few episodes, or maybe a V-Cinema, he gets some kind of thing, because everyone else has got their final form except for him, and that kind of pisses me off. But, so he goes to fight, and first it's him and Neon. I think it's, oh yeah, that's right, that's right. So, Keikara and Baraba capture Daichi and are going to force him to work with them. He doesn't want to. So they go to do, they basically just, he's not even in his Jamato form, and they just laser victory charge and do their final attack, blast at him with the laser raise riser. Michinaga and Neon save him. He's in, of course, just normal Buffa Zombie, and she's in her fantasy form. And they fight together, and it's cool because he does a poison charge and he does the, wave of the, strike at them. And it goes, Nago jumps ahead of him to go, she's going to attack them. But then she goes incorporeal, right? She goes, phases out, so she's, see-through and everything. And the attack goes through her body and smacks them enough to make, basically an explosion of dirt so they can escape. And that's where they make the deal with Daichi. I forgot about that part. There we go. Now I remember. So, like I said, Michinaga decides to have a one-on-one fight with Baraba. Finally end this thing once and for all and stop everything from happening. And so he finally has his fight with her. And it's actually a pretty decent fight, even though he's not in a final form. Again, I have my own qualms about that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But it's a pretty decent fight. Weirdly enough, she doesn't choose to use her premium Baraba form, which I don't understand why she wouldn't do that, unless it was just the last chance to see her CG form, because she does go into her goofy CG laser raise riser form. And I would assume the premium forms are stronger than the Laser Raise Riser forms, but she still uses it. Then again, her Laser Raise Riser, like, bull form thing was able to, like, nuke the entire Jamato Garden and nearly kill the entire cast. So, like, I kind of get it, but also, like, what's the point of the premium form then? But he pretty much holds his own through most of the fight. Kind of gets his ass kicked here and there, but he's able to kind of strike back. Sorry about all the coughing, goodness. Ends it, though, by doing his final, strike, victory strike with the buckle. And during it, goes into his super form thing from when he had the, like, power to beat all Kamen Riders, the one with the fever buckle and all that, the fever zombie form. Yeah. And is able to defeat her. He goes right through her, strikes right through her, destroys her rider form. She's literally, like, bleeding on the ground and talking about how she's impressed that he could bring this much misery to her, blah, blah, blah. She disappears. She's gone. I was kind of hoping her Laser Raise Riser would stay around. Maybe that'd be that gateway to his, new form or whatever. But no, for all that we thought about this, like, Buffa Mao form and how it was supposed to work and blah, 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 it's nothing. It's not been revealed in any kind of scans. The last scans for Terabikun came out for the magazine, and nothing came out about a form for him for final form. So it kind of bothers me a little bit, just because I've really started to gain more respect for and start to really love Buffa in this last couple arcs here, after he was done being one hit KO Invincible Magoo. And I like the fever, zombie form thing for him with the longer horns and the cape and stuff like that. But it doesn't look cool enough as a final form for him, alongside literally Fantasy Nago and Bujin Sword Tycoon and Geats 9. And that kind of bothers me a little bit. So, but he is able to beat Baraba. In doing so, fulfills his part of the bargain. And Kawa actually is the one to kind of help him get back up after he's, like, pretty well, like, not near death, but just pretty badly injured. And basically, forgives him for everything. Says, I know that you had no idea what was going on, basically is what he says. I know you had no idea what was really going on. You weren't trying to do that. I do forgive you. We're going to fix this. It's okay. And Michinaga, you can see the relief on him that he finally has made good on this, that he took an innocent life and has done what he can to reverse that action in whatever way he can, make up for it. Keikara comes through being a dickhead with the Dark Samuri and is trying to shoot Michinaga, and that's when Keiwa helps. And he says, really, you'll come back against me? The one who raised you from the pleb that you are into the rider that you became as Bujin Sword, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, he basically just is like, screw off, I will use this power to end you. So they're going to have their face off next week. It's supposed to be Keikara versus Keiwa. So I'm happy to see him get taken out too, clearly. But they are successful. They go to Daichi. He does have a serum that is able to release Sarah from the tree. Weirdly enough, it only releases Sarah. Pretty sure there's other people in the tree. But maybe there's some kind of, creation god last minute thing that Ace can do to bring everybody back and make everybody happy and all that. But we do see at the end of the episode, Sarah's back. She's really happy. She's happy to see Keiwa and Michinaga and everybody. We do see, however, Ace notices his hand starting to turn to stone. So that's pretty scary. Next week's episode the preview shows Geat finally using a new driver, the Regard driver or something like that, to become Kamen Rider Game. It's a new repaint / kit bash of the Gazer suit, along with some pieces from, I think, Assault Wolf from 01, and a really cool cape. It looks nice. The color scheme is awesome. It's this nice crimson-y red type color. It's pretty cool. And also, like I said, Keikara versus Keiwa, and actually, like I said, Geat versus Ace as well, trying to officially make him into a statue and something he can fully control. Because there's a little thing at the end of this. I love all the little rules that come out at the end of the episode that says the more that a creation god uses their power, the easier it is for those who want to control them. Basically, they lose more of their sentience, their free thought and everything, and are able to more easily be controlled. So overall, a decent episode. If I had to give it a score, probably somewhere around a 7.5-ish out of 10. It's not a terrible episode, and I still enjoyed it for the most part. I think the performances were great. I think most of the story was good. But what bothered me was that we had all this build up to him getting a final form, especially because Nago's had her arc getting hers. Clearly Tycoon has his, Geats has his, so he's the last one to really anyone, I guess, kind of Punk Jack, but I don't really give a shit because they're not dumb enough for Punk Jack for me to care. But Michinoku's been like there from the very beginning, all the way through many of the episodes, a majority of the episodes, through a lot of the storylines, and his final form is pretty much the, like, you know, fever zombie, like, you know, super form thing. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't look as great next to the other ones, and I'm hoping this Mao thing is something eventually, either in the last few episodes or in a V Cinema or something like that. But overall, it was a decent episode. I just wish what kind of held it back was there was a bit of ass-pulliness in terms of, like, the thing with Jeet where he created another Sumuri again. That's annoying. Because why would you just do that from the start instead of even capturing Sumuri? Just get her to cry, take a tear, and leave her. I'm not really sure why Baraba didn't use premium against him. I probably wouldn't have been able to win. But also, when you think about that, though, Baraba not using premium kind of makes sense because she's so cocky and sure of herself. She wasn't even going to sully herself with using her most powerful form. She thought she could use her weakest form, the normal Laser Race Riser form, to defeat Michinoku, thinking he wouldn't be victorious anyway. So it kind of makes sense, but kind of doesn't. Again, this is still a really strong show. I think overall it's still going to sit nicely in my top 3 favorite seasons. But I do think that they have somewhat of an issue with villains and keeping the lore straight a little bit near the end here. But I'm still pretty much all the way 100% hooked in. Next week, there will not be a new episode. Geats is taking a break for some kind of something that's happening on TV in Japan. But King Oger will premiere. I don't know why. So yeah, so Geats won't be a review of that for next week. I might do another catch-up-y type thing for King Oger, just to kind of talk about the last few new episodes since last time I talked about it in a chunk. But we'll see, not exactly sure. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Did you love it, hate it in the middle? What do you guys think of Michinoku's story so far? Do you want him to get his final form or not? What do you guys think about everything else that's going on, you know, narratively right now? Jeet getting a rider form, things like that. In terms of content this week, probably mainly this, and then I'm going to try to get my Shin Ultraman review done. I've been trying to work on that here and there, and I've just not had a lot of time. But I will try to get that done as soon as I can, and get that out there for you guys. And then there'll be Henshins and Homies this week, the podcast, of course. Not 100% on our guests. We might have Julio Coolio, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But we will have a new episode out, hot and fresh, ready, live on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, so, but as always, stay hooked on Heroes. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.